Na, alles für den Schritt oder was? Welcome back everyone to Dark Souls 2. Wait. Oh, this is Dark Souls 1, isn't it? Yeah, this is kind of a special episode of Dark Souls 2 PvP. This is just a real quick showcase of one of the popular setups from back in the days. Let's just take a quick look at the stats here. We got 50 vitality, 40 endurance, 40 strength, 40 dex. It was basically a 40-40 quality build. Very popular. 1800 HP, 192 stamina. And defense all the way pretty okay with 40 points from the wolf ring. Here we got a few weapons. Murakumo, rapier, composite bow and a small leather shield. With those 4 weapons and these pieces of armor, he would be barely under the 25% mark for the fast roll. And there we see the 40 poise from the wolf ring because the setup itself has 0 poise. There we have it again. And now we're in Dark Souls 2. Yeah, this looks more like it. So once again, we got the Kumo right there. We got 3 of the 4 pieces of that armor set. So here are a few weapons that I kind of farmed for a little bit. All of those weapons have been in Dark Souls 1 as well. And you see I got the 4 weapons equipped, which I just showed you. This is the Ring of Blades. Well, I just didn't know what else I should use. The Ring of Giants for the Wolf Ring, obviously. The Royal Soldier's Ring +2 for more equip load. And of course the 3rd Dragon Ring as the Fab Ring. And basically the same setup. The only difference here is the hood, which was the Hollow Thief hood. In this game it's the Desert Sorcerer's hood. Let's look at the stats here real quick. We got some vigor in there, not too much, but it's about 1800 HP, just like in Dark Souls 1. We got a lot of endurance though, for the 192 stamina. Vitality is also pretty high for the equip load, so I can stay below the 25% mark, which is once again fast roll in Dark Souls 1. Base attunement, 40 strength, 40 dex. Adaptability is at the level at which I get 105 agility, which is 13 iframes, and that's exactly the same amount as you would get with the fast roll in Dark Souls 1. So you guys can maybe tell what I'm trying to do today with this. But yeah, let's jump into PvP and I'm going to explain it further. So first thing I want to say, I haven't played this game in a very long time now, but yeah. You're not gonna see some super flashy awesome gameplay here, because right there I couldn't even, tell what the hell this guy was doing, because I have none of the DLCs, I haven't played any of them, I've watched some stuff. But yeah, I think I stopped playing before the first DLC and hit the stores, or well, the online platforms, whatever you want to call it. And I decided to make this video, just went through PvE and did all the stuff to get this build ready, and this was basically recorded in one session in the arena, one afternoon. And yeah, well, I guess it was kind of fun for a change, but I don't know. Well, I think I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and see how this goes. I'm going to explain further what I'm actually trying to do. And like I said, you probably already figured it out. I'm trying to see what the exact same build as back then in Dark Souls 1 can do in this game. So like I said, we have the same amount of iframes. We have about the same equip load with the 25%. We have the same weapons, obviously with different movesets. The armor setup is pretty much the same, just I had to use a different hood. But I think it doesn't really make much of a difference. We have the same amount of HP, same amount of stamina, all that stuff. Now, obviously, the level is a bit different. This is soul level 222, which is kind of a funny number, but it just ended up with that. I guess you could go with this a lot less on the endurance, because from what I can tell, endurance goes down so much in this game. Like, everything takes a shit ton of stamina. And I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It just makes you play a little bit more reserved, a little bit more passive and defensive, more thoughtful. Well, almost broke my tongue, yeah. And yeah, I think you can save a lot of levels on this kind of build if you just don't go too much into the endurance, because it's not really necessary. Same goes for the vitality. You don't really need like 25% breakpoint for your equip load, because it works different in this game. But I think you can get this around 150 if you really wanted to. And yeah, so some of you might actually be wondering, dude, what's the deal now? So you're gonna do some more Dark Souls 2 now again, or maybe not? I thought you were back in Dark Souls 1, so I don't really know. It's really not that cool. I don't know. I know a lot of people like it for whatever reasons. I don't really care too much. It's just it's not for me, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna make any more videos for Dark Souls. So I really wanted to do some more. I had like some cosplays in mind, and maybe I'm gonna do one more just because I love that one character so much that I would actually go through the trouble of doing that stuff. But, I don't know. It would be a lot of trouble actually, and we got Bloodborne on the line. It's like 3 months until that game hits. It's not that long. I mean, we haven't seen any PvP yet. I hope it does actually have some standard PvP. I mean, it's confirmed to have PvP, but what kind of PvP? No idea. Although I can't really imagine it being something completely new and super different. Like some people like to throw around the term of beast hunting, where players turn into beasts and they get hunted by other players. But I don't know. If that's going to be a thing, it's not going to be all that PvP is. I think the traditional PvP will be there just as well. And we also got like the next gen version of Dark Souls to come out, which is like, I don't even know. Maybe I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm really trying not to bash Dark Souls 2 in this video. I want to, really bad, trust me. I want to, but I kind of don't want to, because it's pointless anyways. But I want to talk about a few things. And I think, since this is basically my video on my channel, I think I can talk about why I don't really like this game. I think my channel has been about Souls games for a while now, especially PvP. And PvP, Dark Souls versus Dark Souls 2 is kind of a topic still. And I think I can just kind of try and give my thoughts about it, and I'll try not to be too harsh with it, and we'll see. So the first thing I want to say is a big fuck you to everybody who's saying how they, or who's preaching how they fixed PvP with Dark Souls 2. They fixed everything, and it's like, yeah, man, this is what we always needed. Like, they fixed lag, they fixed hitboxes, they fixed backstabs, they fixed like everything. For some reason people really think that's how it is, and there is this mindset now for a lot of people who just like to bash on Dark Souls 1, and they just like to be like, oh my god, you think that Dark Souls 2 is shit just because you're like totally a fanboy of Dark Souls 1 and it wasn't even that good. But what are you even talking about, guys? It's Dark Souls 1 we're talking about. We've been playing this game for 3 years. People are still playing that. And like I said, I want to bash Dark Souls 2, really. But there's a good reason why a lot of the uploaders, especially PvP uploaders, are not doing it anymore. You see so many people who just dropped it. Like, it's... I mean, sure, there have been a lot of new people, a lot of new YouTubers and players on the horizon, so to say. But really, if you take a closer look at all their content, most of it is more like the creative stuff, like funny stuff and just stupid ideas. Mind you, stupid in a funny way, not necessarily in a bad way. I don't mean in a bad way, really. But it's more about creative content rather than just pure skill montages like we know it from all the good guys back then. Oh, this guy was kind of funny. He gave up. I still shot him. GG. And yeah, I think there's a reason to that, because the skill ceiling in Dark Souls 2 isn't really there. I think that's really how it is. And I don't mean it in a bad way. You can kind of master, quote unquote master, these games easily. It's very basic. It's very basic. Granted, Dark Souls 1 has glitches and mechanics that need to be trained, that need to be mastered. You have to pay attention to them, you have to keep them in mind. There's a lot more going on than what Dark Souls 2 has. And in that sense, you could say Dark Souls 2 combat is really focusing more on actual fighting than trying to be fancy, trying to use techniques and all that stuff to win. And a lot of people don't like that, and that's okay. I understand that. I mean, I would prefer Dark Souls 2 PvP because it's very basic, and I prefer to have a basic fight where people are just, you know, fighting, and not like, oh man, I was like better. I called him out so many times on so many occasions, and I couldn't do anything about it, and I was just playing better. I was just a better fighter, and I still won because of that stupid, you know, whatever technique, glitch, thingy, whatever it is. And there's so much stuff in Dark Souls 1 that can easily turn the tides. And the really good players are getting even better at those things every day, and it's kind of crazy. I don't know, I think I've reached pretty much my... What do you want to see? What do you want to say? What do you want to call it? I don't know. I think I've reached the point where I can't get any better anymore, and I personally don't even care, really. I know a lot of people like to care too much about these games. It's kind of funny. I don't know. But yeah. I think Dark Souls 2 PvP could be the better PvP if it wasn't so... it wasn't so shit. That was a joke, sorry. It's not shit, really. No. Shit is something different. I know I like to make those jokes, I like to say the game is shit, the game is bad and everything, but you all know what bad games really look like. There are terrible games out there. And Dark Souls 2 is clearly one of the better games that has been released this year. But it just couldn't live up to what people wanted it to be, and I don't know, I think part of it has to do with the fact that Dark Souls really set some super high standards. Part of it has to do with people being close-minded elitist pricks. Probably because, I mean, I'm guilty myself. I kind of want some more technical stuff going on, even though I keep saying that I would prefer a more basic experience, more basic PvP experience, just centered around like simple fighting and more about prediction, more about the good old spacing and timing, you know, the golden age. And speaking of which, we got some super hotshot here who thinks he's like, oh man, I'm just gonna, you know, backstab through your great club because I'm so awesome. Yeah, well, dude. Look at him. Yeah, dude, you keep on doing that a couple more times, you get predictable and get backstabbed. I don't know, it's just something I noticed, and this might sound biased, but I think, for whatever reason, people on Dark Souls 2 seem to be a lot more childish about the PvP. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a bigger audience that they have now with Dark Souls 2. I mean, it's pretty much a guaranteed that Dark Souls 2 has a bigger audience than Dark Souls 1. Simply because the franchise keeps growing and it's only natural. And with that we also get more, let's say, immature people. Like, we got all kinds of people into the community. It was back then, it was only Demon Souls and we had a relatively small community. I don't know, it kind of changed. So I think it's just natural. It doesn't really have to do with the game. Like, I know people like to say, oh man, Dark Souls 2 is kind of the easier game, also for PvP, because it's not so deep, it's not so technical, so you find a lot of like, casuals, quote unquote casuals, playing the game, who just, I don't know. Although I do have to agree that Dark Souls 2 is probably the easier game to get into. I mean, like I said, I haven't played for months now, and I just went into the arena straight ahead, and I want a good chunk of fight. And I dare say a 40-40 build on Dark Souls 2 is not the best thing you could do. While in Dark Souls 1, it pretty much is the best thing you can do without considering min-maxing, of course. Now you see this? This guy's having some heavy armor. And it's a big weapon, and he just likes to run into my face with it. And I know, dude. Don't you? You know, like poise doesn't really work. And all I have to do is kind of like two-hand whatever I want, and you're gonna be done for, dude. And this is something I really, really don't like about this game. The way poise works is kinda okay because it's a bit different. When you can poise through a hit, you get slowed down. So I think that's good. That was a good idea because it really helps against poise BS on Dark Souls 1. And we all know they're just too easy to pull off. They were too easy to pull off. They still are. Nothing has changed there. Sorry if you considered going back. It's still the same. And I think the whole slowing down when you don't, when you have enough poise, was a good thing, because people couldn't just ignore whatever you were doing and just go for the backstab. And you know, backstabs hurt. They hurt more in Dark Souls 2, but in Dark Souls 1 they still hurt. So I think that was a good idea. What I don't like about poise is the fucking ridiculous poise breaks. Like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I haven't checked it yet if they patched anything, but last time I checked, there was like 95 poise break on a two-handed rapier. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with that shit? And see, this is another thing, kind of a side effect of the way that poise works or doesn't work. People like to go for a lot of R1s, like, because they know they can get off one, then they know they can probably get off a second one. And this fight here, I remember this fight, this is like a good example of baiting. See, there I baited him. I walked a bit forward there, and then I quickly moved backwards, and I knew he was going forward. There again. And let's see if that happens again. I think I get him again with that bait. Let's see where it is. There it is. See? He went in there. He thought he could get me because of latency. I was still a little bit closer on his screen, but on my screen I already backed off and then walked back in. And it kind of happened a little bit later on his screen, and I don't know. You just see a lot of people not really paying attention to what their opponents do, and it happens a lot more in Dark Souls too. Mainly because of the way poise works. You get away with a lot more stuff. Oh, look at this guy. And yeah, that is certainly how much damage Katana riposte should deal, but okay. It's all good. And come on, dude. It's okay if you get a parry, but don't start spamming now, please, because that doesn't make you look better. Really. I don't know. And speaking of backstabs again, I don't think they went the right way with fixing backstabs, quote unquote fixing backstabs. The backstab attempt thingy is kinda okay, but it's not the real deal, and I think you're gonna see this in this fight. They kinda didn't fix backstabs, so sorry to everybody who's still kinda dropping that because Dark Souls 1 was all about backstabs and blah blah blah. No, guys, if you want to, honestly, if you wanted to, you could turn Dark Souls 2 into pure backstabs just as well. It's gonna be a bit harder to do, but other than that, it is the same thing. I don't know. So, like I said, I'm not trying to bash the game. It's just people keep coming up with the weirdest ideas just to justify how Dark Souls 2 PvP is better, when in fact that's not how Dark Souls 2 PvP is better than Dark Souls 1 PvP. No, they did not fix backstabs. That's bullshit. That's nonsense. That's completely nonsense. So please stop saying something like that when you don't understand what you're talking about. Just shut the fuck up. Sorry to put it like that, but that's really what it is. Here, look at that. Look at that. That's what you call fixed? That looks like I don't even know what the fuck just happened. Like we both teleported into a completely different place And that was the first time I saw an ice rapier. Like I said, I don't have the DLC. Oh, and here another guy. I think you've noticed that before. The bow bait into parry worked on that other guy before with the katana. He thought he was kind of a hot shot with his backstabs. And I think one of the reasons why people think Dark Souls 2 PvP is so much better is because they started with this game. Or they haven't even been there in the prime of Dark Souls 1 PvP, man, when all the good people were uploading videos, when all the good people were improving tactics and showing you things. They haven't been there. They just don't know any better. And if you were one of those poor souls, then I feel very sorry for you. But yeah, I think just noticing, just thinking back and reminiscing how many people I actually got with the bow bait into a parry, that really opened my eyes and like, okay, it's okay. So I hope I wasn't bashing too much here. Just a general comparison, I think Dark Souls 2 PvP would need a lot of balancing, a lot of reworking, and then it could be really the better PvP, but it isn't. So I can play it every now and then. I can have my fun with the game because it's still a cool game, it's still a fun game, but overall, no, just no. So, yeah. What do you think, guys? You've seen the footage, you've seen like the damage output and all that, and the damage I take, and this is pretty much how a quality build performs. I know I haven't focused too much on the actual gameplay with my commentary, but I guess I kind of left that out to you guys to pay attention to gameplay. What do you think? Is this OP? Is this over-leveled? Is this completely pointless because nobody cares anymore? Or because like Bloodborne is on the line and Dark Souls 2 PvP is pointless anyways? What do you think? Are you still playing Dark Souls 2 PvP? Are you playing Dark Souls 1 PvP? I don't know. I feel like I'm out of touch with my subscriber base anyways. I don't know what you guys are even playing. Are you playing Dark Souls 1 or 2 or both? What do you like more? You know, whatever. Just let me know. I would be really interested in that. And also I would like to know if you guys are going to pick up some Bloodborne at some point. Because I definitely will. And I hope I can get out some more Dark Souls 1 videos. Sorry, but that's the plan for now. And not that many videos anymore, but a couple more videos. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, let me know what you think. Catch you on the next one.